This video is about finding missing side lengths if you're given one side length and a degree measure. If you have one degree measure, of course, you can always find the other degree measure. So we know that the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So if we have 1 degree is 90, 1 degree is 35, then our last degree would be 55. Okay. Now, what we want to do is use our calculator to find this length. Now, you might see this in a real-world application if you're trying to find the height of a tree, let's say, or the height of a building or a house or something along those lines. So, for the sake of this, let's say we're finding the height of a barn. So here is my barn, and I want to find the height of it. And I know that if I look from the ground to the very top of the barn, that I am looking at a 35-degree angle, and you can actually figure this out with a certain tool. And I know that the straight line distance from the ground to the very top of the building, let's say this was actually over here, is 44 feet. And I want to be able to find this side. In order to do this, first of all, you need to make sure that your calculator is in the correct mode. So to do that, you're going to push your mode button and then check to make sure it is not in radians, but rather it is in degrees. Radians you'll learn about in the next video. So or in a couple videos perhaps. For this, first of all, we need to figure out which of our three main functions we want to use: sine, cosine, or tangent. So to do this, let's start with the angle that we're given and label the sides as opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. We know this side is the hypotenuse. All right. The other side that creates the 35 would be the adjacent side. And the side that we don't know over here that we're trying to find is the opposite side. We want to use, first of all, the side that we know. So we're for sure going to have to use the hypotenuse here. We also want to use the side that we're trying to find. So we need to use the opposite side. So let's look up at SOHCAHTOA and figure out which of our functions includes opposite and hypotenuse. Well, that would be sine. Sine does. So here, sine of our angle, which in this case is 35 degrees, is going to equal opposite, which we don't know, so I'm going to call it x, over hypotenuse, which is 44. So if I want to find x, what I would have to do is multiply both sides by 44. So I'm going to get x equals, and then you're going to type in your calculator 44 times, and then you're going to use the sine button, which I'm circling over in the top left part of your screen. So 44 times sine, and then you're going to put 35 inside of sine. There will be parentheses, just like that. Press enter, and we get approximately, we'll round to the nearest tenth, 25.2 feet. And that would be how you would find the side if you're given a hypotenuse and an angle. We could have also used the 55-degree angle, and then we would have used adjacent and hypotenuse. We would have gotten the same answer. Let's look at a similar problem. I'm going to go ahead and Alright, so in this problem, let's say we're trying to find the height of a tree, and we know that it has a shadow that is 5 feet long, and this angle up here is 50 degrees. If we want to know the height of the tree, we're going to be wanting to find this side right over here. The first step is to take the angle you know and to mark the sides as hypotenuse, so that would be this one, adjacent, so that would be this one, and opposite, which would be that one. So if we want to find this side over here, and we know this side, we're going to have to use the opposite and adjacent sides. Well, SOHCAHTOA, the only one that has opposite and adjacent both is tangent. So we're going to take the tangent of 50 degrees and set that equal to the opposite, which is 5 feet, over the adjacent, which is x. In this case, we're going to have to solve this by multiplying by x to get it out of the denominator. So on the left-hand side, we have x times tangent of 50 equals 5. And if we're solving for x, we would then want to divide by the tangent of 50 degrees. So we know that x is equal to 5 over the tangent of 50 degrees, which you can plug right into your calculator. 5 divided by tangent of 50. And that is approximately 4.1, we'll round to the nearest tenth, so 4.2 feet tall. You really get a number more like 4.195498156, just to double check. But if we're rounding to the nearest tenth, that would be how you approach it. Alright, so that's how you use trigonometry to find a missing side if you're given an angle and one side.